y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler. I want to welcome you all back to the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2021. Thank you so very much for being with me each day on this journey. Our tangle for today is called ZENPLOSION FOLDS. It is by Dani O'Brien, and she is in Texas, I believe, and an incredible artist and illustrator. And this is a very cool tangle. So because Easter is in a couple of days for us, I am going to play with some color. And I'm going to be working on a white Zentangle tile today with watercolors. But before I get started, I want to do some swatching with the colors that I have chosen to make sure that they are the colors that I want to use. And what I thought I would do is do bright egg colors today. So I'm using my Arteza watercolors, and I have the 60 set, and this was a lemon yellow, which is a really nice bright yellow. I'm liking that, so I will probably use that. My problem is there are too many pretty colors and I'm going to want to use them all. So let's see what I've got next. This is the light green. Now, what I was thinking about this one was, I think I used this, well, I can't get it open. This is the problem with these. All right. So I used this once before, but it was a little too blah for me. Although that is a really beautiful, that's actually perfect for Easter grass and things like that. And what I wanted to do was maybe mix it with the lemon yellow and sort of yellow it up just a tiny bit. But I really like this bright green color. So this is definitely going to go on my list. Now, if you're going to do swatches, try to use the same type of paper that you're going to be working on. So since I'm going to use a Zentangle tile and they're made from the same paper, I'm just going to use a standard Zentangle tile on the back. This is a bubblegum pink. Let's see how this looks. Make sure you're cleaning your brush nicely between each one. Mine is a little stained, but it's clean. Ooh, that's a pretty pink. That's a really pretty pink. I'm going to really have trouble choosing. Well, all of these are very pretty. Of course, I've got my rose, which is a big favorite for me. Big favorite. And that's going to go gorgeous with that pink. So those two are really favorites for me. Now I've got a blush pink, but I think that may be just a little too light for what I'm wanting. So I think I'll save that. Then I've got a couple more greens, but of course I want to do the lavender. And I'm just going to have sort of an Easter basket type of a feel going on this tile. And you guys are going to love. I like this, but that's not quite as bright or vibrant as I was hoping for. Let's use a little bit more. I guess if I want vibrant, I need to go more towards the violet range. But I like that, and that's going to go well with all of the rest of these colors. All right, let's see if I've got my lid back on. Okay, so what I've got left are lime green, sap green, and I don't think I'm going to even bother with those because I really like what I got here. And then I've got this phthalo blue, which is a gorgeous bright, well, maybe not so bright. Well, that's kind of blue-greeny, isn't it? Okay, so that's not my favorite. So I think I won't use the blue. And I think I will stick with the green, pink, rose, and lavender on this tile. All right, so I'm going to just splotch in some Eastery colors. I'm going to try to keep them really light. I'm gonna do my pink and my lavender. I'm going to try to keep these a lot more subtle than my practice tile. We just want a hint here and there. I have trouble with subtle. Subtle is not my thing. As you can see. Okay. It's pretty good. There were several I said I wasn't going to use that now I think I want to. And I think I'm going to go ahead and drag my lemon yellow in here. And do a little bit of that, just a tiny bit. I change my mind every second when I do these things about what I want to do. Okay. I'm going to save the... Oops. I have blue on my finger. That's not good. Apparently, I'm going to put a little blue in there. It's all right. Most watercolors can be almost completely removed with water and a brush, assuming the paper you're working on will allow it. All right, so a little rose, I think. Just a tiny bit, Cindy. Don't go nuts with it. I'm just going to work it in here where it's going to blend with something else that will work well with it. And I may come back in and add a little more pink. I think this is going to be plenty. I will do something unexpected here, and I think I will add some of this orange yellow. Just a tiny bit, since I'm on a pastel kick. Oh, that'll be pretty. Just a tiny bit. Put that in up here. I like what I'm doing so much more than what I did on my practice tile. I'm much more happy. I think I'm just going to keep doing it this way, sort of putting these little swatches of color right up next to each other. Those go gorgeous. Let me get the blue out. And I'm going to have to get my other colors out that I decided not to use, because I'm really liking the way this is working together. So some blue over here might work well. Maybe a tiny bit of, I don't know how red I want to get. I still want to stay with the sort of pastel theme. Ooh, there's an apricot. That might go nicely. Let's check that out. It's probably not a good plan. You should probably go ahead and swatch these somewhere before you get started on your tile. But it's me. So let's see how this looks. That's fairly neutral. I guess we can use it. It's pretty close to this yellow, or this orange yellow. Get some water going here. Well, it does blend. Use a tiny bit more. That's a nice color for doing neutral. That might go well on a Renaissance style. I don't know. I have to try it. Okay, I lost my, there it is. Painting with Cindy, it's an adventure. So I definitely want to explore some purples and some blues over here. Ultramarine, let's use cerulean. That's a nice, it's a nice decent blue that you can lighten up easily. Make sure you got a clean brush. Yeah, that might work. But really settle on this, Cindy. Oh, that's a lot of paint. There we go. You just have to water it down good. Well, keep the brush cleaned off so that the color will lighten a little bit. I'll probably use a little more rose now. I'm loving the pink up there. I think this is going to be gorgeous. I have no idea how it'll turn out. I think it'll be beautiful. And now I can put some violet in here. And we'll still have a bit of area around the edge for some green, hopefully. Oh, that's a nice color. Oh, that's too much of that color. It's still pretty though, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Sorry. For those of you who are new, I'm a purple crazy person. I love purple and violet. It's one of my favorite colors, absolutely ever in the world. And when I get a good swatch of it like that, I just want to roll around in it. It's just so gorgeous. But again, like the blue, keep your brush clean, lots of water, and it won't overwhelm you, hopefully. I don't know what happened there. Too much paint, maybe. There we go. Now, try to soften these edges just a little bit. I don't know if there's any softening that. Just lighten this up a little bit. There we go. So it looks like, I don't know. It looks like an impressionist Easter egg basket. How about that? Okay, gotta find my lid. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Now for the green. All right, let's see if we can get this on there without making a huge, huge, crazy mess. Just a little bit around the edges. What do you think? Yeah, this will work. Nice and light. Got our Easter egg grass here. Now, I'm not a person that believes that Easter is about Easter baskets and all of that. I you know, I believe in Easter. And if you don't, this is just a pretty spring bouquet and you don't have to worry about it, right?
Always believe in Easter. Or I say Easter Bunny is going to wake you up in your sleep.
Well now, We have heard from the master. He's just pumped up because he's getting an Easter basket this year. Cindy went a little nuts with the shopping. Got the boy some fun stuff. Put the plushies I put in his basket are for the puppies. Because he'll just give them to him anyway, so let them tear them up. So it's all right. It's all right.
Your Easter basket.
Sunday, buddy, Sunday. Okay, now I'm going to get my lemon yellow again. My shirt is covered in paint. Because that's how we roll around here. I mean, honestly, I felt this way when I worked with horses a long time ago. I had a therapy horse that worked with me. And, yeah, and we called it barn dirt. And that was the best dirt ever. As far as I'm concerned, this is art dirt, and it's the best dirt ever. There, I'm just going to brighten up the edges just a little bit. A little bit of yellow. Hello, Miss River. How are we doing today? I'm not ready to eat yet. But thanks for asking. All right. See if I can keep my fingerprints out of this. Just add a little bit of yellow over here. And some water. And we'll have some color differences. There we go. I don't know. I think that must have been violet. What do you think? One of the little dry flecks of paint got on the edge there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be working with today. I think it's going to turn out great once we get the tangling on top of it. It's a bit of a mess the way it is, but this is what I'm going to use today, and I hope this video was informative for you. Okay, so let's dry this off, and I'll see you in a minute for tangling. Okay, for today, we are doing the tangle ZENPLOSION folds. And this is a very cool tangle. It's very similar in the way that it's formed to, it's a Uruchan Ediper. No, that's a Dami. I'm not sure who did it. But it's very similar in the way that you do that. Now, the key to this tangle is to know where you're going. So the first thing we want to do is, I'm going to do something very unusual today. Well, do I want to? Okay, I'll do it in the center. One of the reasons that I'm always off center when I do these is because I very frequently don't manage to get it centered. And so it's always nicer if you look like you intended to do that instead of... And actually, I think that's what I want to do. So I'm going to put my dot up here. Now, you can put your dot in the center, whatever you want to do, but I'm going to start with the dot. Let me zoom. Okay. Now, ZENPLOSION folds is a tangle that basically lets you do folds. Day 61. DS. Day Zentangle. Shout out South America, Brazil, Argentina, Santiago, all of you people in South America. Shout out. Okay. Where was... Oh, yeah. ZENPLOSION folds. We may never get to it. Okay, so this is a very simple thing, and it's a way to draw folds in and make them part of your patterns. Okay, so in this tangle, she starts with a big curly sort of S shape. Yeah. And then we have to visualize where we want our point to be. Do we want our point to be here? Do we want it to be here? Do we want it to be here? It can go wherever you want, okay? And the way that you position the point depends on how this looks. Okay, so we're going to connect all of these lines and point them at this point. Even if they can't touch it, they're going to point here. Each edge is angled towards this point, okay? And these as well. You're going to angle them towards the point. Okay? And this is the tangle. Okay? Now, if I had set this up over here, we would have a very different look. All right, but it will work wherever you place your dot. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to use an S, and then I'm going to show you a variation of this. Okay. Now, these are pretty close in, but it's still going to work. And even though I would prefer to use my 01, a PN is a nice choice over watercolor. Always pointing the lines towards the point. Otherwise, these will look weird. Okay, that's it. Now, if you would like, you can change this up. Simba, not right now, mommy's teaching. Okay, once again, pointing at the point. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is alternate these and have some fun. So you do what you want to do. All right. Very simple stuff. You can, but this point needs to stay the same all the way around if you're going to do this radially. Now, you can do this many other ways, but radial is going to look really cool. It's going to look like a bouquet. And if you get it wrong or something happens, don't worry. Just go on to the next one, point it right. By the time we get done filling this with these beautiful S curves and folds, no one will notice whatever mistake you feel like you have made, okay? So even though I got this one pointed a little bit off, it's still going to be okay, right? All right, so now I'm going to make this one a little bigger and point it, you know, in this direction, but still this will be my point. You can do as many times as you want, all right? Change it up, but always the point stays the same. Oops. Simba. Simba says howdy. Hi, Z. Hi, is it ZZ? She is a beauty. Honey, can you make your phone please stop? Okay, and I forgot one right here. All right, now you see these are getting a little bit wonky, and it doesn't matter. You can do these however you like, and this is going to be beautiful with the color changes and all of that, I think. Once we get the shading done and get everybody's attention on the tangling, all of this is going to blend beautifully into the background, I think, I hope. So I think I'll put in another fold here, and you can start these from whichever direction you want. Sometimes I bump the edges up. To sort of get the overlapping look. Each line to the curve, to the point. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do another sort of largish. And if I run into any other lines from anything else, I am not going to worry about it. I am going to draw behind. Yeah. And point at the point. If something's in the way, that's okay. I'm still going to point at the point. If I can do it without making a mess, that'd be even better. Simba, the jerking is not appreciated, buddy. I'm in the midst of something that's going to be fabulous, I feel like, and don't help me. Well, I am not helping myself with those stray lines. This is why I want to use a 0-1, but I don't think I'm going to get as good finished product with a 0-1, so that's why. All right, so I'm going to do another one. One over here. I always forget that one on the side, but it makes a big difference. Okay. So now I think I'll put a fold in. Settle down, Sim. Take your time, Cindy, take your time. Okay, couple more. Okay, so I think I can fit one more in here. Do I want it to be a fold? I kind of do. So, and I can stretch that fairly well. Okay. So now we have one round of this. Now we can add another level of this. And again, always with the point where you put it. Okay, that's not going to change. So in each one of these little spots where they sort of, you know, have a little hole, you're going to add some more. All right, so, and I think I'm going to make mine bigger, but we'll see how they turn out. It's always interesting. And you just point at the point. Take your time so you don't run over the lines like I do. And move on to the next thing. You can make these S's as round and curvy as you like. Or you can make them just simple, more like this. Okay, anything you want to do is going to work here. So I'm just going to keep going around and see what I end up with next. Over here, Cindy, over here. And this second row is where you really have to sort of pay attention to where that dot is. Yeah. Okay. I'm loving it, and the great thing about this is you can do more with this. Let's get it drawn in. I really appreciate you guys understanding that I needed a day to sort of figure everything out and get reset and start again. I do apologize for any inconvenience that caused for people. I I just, I got to the point where I was too tired and I could not handle getting two videos together in one day. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys were understanding and patient, and that we are still going to do 100 days. I just needed a day because of the sick, and now we're back and rolling, and hopefully everything's going to work out. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. It's going to be frilly and beautiful. We're going to play with some colored pencils. It's going to be awesome. All right, here, where was I? Yep. Okay. See how simple this is, and even though it does take some time to draw in, it's very relaxing. You always know what stroke comes next. Even if your S's are wonky, it's going to work fine. You see, you can do pretty much anything you want with the curves here, except apparently get the lines to match up, and that's a personal issue on my part. Just make them fun and funky if that's what you want to do. Just remember to point those lines at the dot, and you're going to be fine. Okay, top one can be smaller, the lower one can be bigger. It's whatever you want to do. So I'm going to make these a little smaller up here. You can pack them in tightly, or you can leave them loose. And sometimes you will forget a line here and there, and you usually will pick it up as you shade. But don't worry. I put my finger at the dot so that I'm always pointing my lines at my finger, and it's a little less confusing. All right, just probably two more here. All right, and over here I think I'll just put a fold in. Okay, all right, now, so I think I've gotten as far up here as I'm going to go. And so I think I want to add a few more, or at least something decorative down here. Question is what? Okay. And if you want to put in both a curl and a fold, you can certainly do that too. Just like that. When you add in your lines, take your time, make sure you're in the right place. I wonder if I could go the other direction. I mean, I can. I just don't know if I should or not. Well, I've already done. I don't know. I don't know. Go. And now I'm managing to incorporate a little bit of overlap here and there. That's always going to be good. This is going to be awesome when we're done shading. I hope so anyway. So, okay, a little bit more and we'll be done with the drawing or the tangling. I am trying to decide what pattern to do with Mari tomorrow for the live stream. Something not too frilly. Something manly. We'll have to think it through. Hopefully there will be more drawing and less shenanigans this time, but I don't promise. I don't promise. Now, I'm thinking about adding something a little bit different, but I think I've gotten too far here to change anything drastically. So I think I will just calm down with that idea. And you can really see that whatever you do with your S shape, it's still going to work. I am purposefully making these wonky and weird so that you know that whatever shape you end up with your S curves, that it's going to work out just fine, okay? Let's see, where's my dot? Okay. And we're not going to see hardly any of this one, but we're still going to need those lines to point the right direction. Okay. Now, you can add in little bits here and there wherever you think they would fit. And I am thinking of adding something with tendrils here to come out just a little bit. So I'm thinking about Muka, of course. Doesn't everyone? Like that. Just going to draw this one behind. Just needed something moving, I think. Well, or as Marilyn or whoever says, what the well? I'm still giggling about that. What the well? If I could get Mari to say that, we'd be making progress. Mari, when you get mad, just say, what the well? Nah. Better than nothing. And you can sort of hide them back there if that's what you want to do. I don't know that I need a whole lot of these. You know me. Never know when to stop. No, I do not. I don't know, guys. I don't know if this is going to work very well or not, but we're going to do it. I need something to fit in these holes. Perhaps a tiny bit better than that. Whatever. Well, it's a little bit sad looking, but that's all right. Not exactly what I had envisioned, but Muka rarely is. Muka usually has a mind of its own. And that's the beauty of it. You can let it do what it needs to do based on this space. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. Well, I shouldn't have done that. I sort of had this thought that it would go back the other way, but maybe not. Let's do this one. There we go. Well, what the well? Well, it's a very busy tile. That's okay, though. We're going to like it anyway. So let's see what we're going to do next. So the next thing I want to do, and I will probably, do more. You know how it is, layers. And the next thing I want to do is take my 01, and if you have a 005 or even a 01 that doesn't have a lot of ink, any of those things are going to work. And I'm just going to do a tiny bit of line work. You don't have to do this. This is just work that will sort of dress things up, I hope. And what I'm going to do is take some tiny little hatch lines. Along the edges like that. This type of thing takes a lot of time and patience. It takes practice, and I sometimes do okay, and I sometimes do not. You want these to curve with the way that you want this to look. Cindy, this may not be the best choice for me today. I don't know. We're going to try it. If your pen is juicy, like apparently mine is, you can just use a really light touch on it. That can be, again, it's a thing you have to practice. And my pen has just got too much ink for this to be effective. So let me switch it out and find a less juicy pen. I should have plenty of those. All right, well, we found it. Here we go back. Much better. So ignore the first few examples I did. It doesn't take much to give a hint of roundness. You just want to sort of get a slight curve in them, right? Sort of go from there. You don't have to do them all. It's just a little less work for your pencil later. One thing that NE teaches is that the more work you do with your pen, the less work you have to do with your pencil. Now, I, again, have varying degrees of success with mine, but if you really want to learn this technique, sign up for Art Club. She has a new lesson on shading with ink, and this kind of thing is part of it, and I am not very good at it, so you should not learn it from me. This is just called hatching. Using tiny little lines to add contouring. What are you doing, Missy? Are you feeling all frisky today? What the boys doing? Are they jumping on the trampoline? So it doesn't take much, but it makes a big, big difference. Now I am going to speed this part up for you because it's tedious and I doubt most of you will do it. So I'm just going to speed this part up. Just know that this takes time and patience. And even though it looks fast, it was not. You just have to be careful to know where you want this. You want it on the parts that are rounded. The parts that are sort of coming out of a fold. Oops, I forgot a line here, didn't I? There. And all those stray pen marks I had. What? What stray pen marks? Exactly. Now, at this point, we can choose to shade with pencil. We can choose to shade with graphite. We can choose to do colored pencil. That's what I meant. So, let's find out what regular graphite will do for us here. All right. And I fully intend to use colored pencils on this. However, I would be doing myself a disservice. It's sort of like salting your food before you try it. You know, how do you know it needs salt? So let's try this out. So where I have got my pen marks, I definitely want to add graphite. Let's do a really nice dark shade here. And when you have these situations, you know, you want to try to put a little color there, but you don't want to go too crazy because you don't want to draw attention to it. I mean, there is some natural overlap there. But you want the shading there to be pretty subtle. We'll blend this out and see how it turns out. So let's see what we end up with. I may change my mind and just want to use graphite. We've still got the color coming through. It's a lot of graphite, Cindy. This is one reason why that's not always a good plan to put a bunch of graphite there, is because you end up bleeding through over onto your other elements. So I feel like I got way too much graphite here. But it is effective. And don't forget, if you want, you can come in with your Prismacolor or white charcoal over this color and put in a bit of a highlight. I think maybe charcoal might do better for me in this situation. So yeah, I need to lift out some of the graphite on this. And you can add to your highlights somewhat with charcoal and pencil, but it's an iffy proposition. Now, if I look at this from far away, this is going to be pretty cool, though. So, let me see. What I'm wondering right now, while I look for my Mono Zero, is how much graphite is enough to make this effective, and will I still see my, that's not what I'm looking for. Will I still see my color when I'm done? So, And see, so when you start in this situation with your graphite, it's a slippery slope from which it's hard to come back from. So I may or may not put some graphite there. I'm really leaning towards just shading this with graphite. However, I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't look at the colored pencil alternative. Now, I have multiple. This is a lemon yellow. That might be the perfect thing. I have multiple choices where my colored pencils are concerned. And I can use these to juice up my color in places if that's what I want to do. However, the other thing I can do with these, if I can find the right pencils, what's this? Blue cerulean blue. So, I am matching colors like crazy today. Good job. Unfortunately, it's not a very good mix. So I might be able to use the blue violet here to good effect. I'm using Verathins right now because they're the ones that I can erase if I need to. And they will also work with my pencil, my graphite. So let's blend this a bit. And they blend nicely with a tortillon. So all of those things are good reasons why I use them. None of these things can be done with your regular colored pencils. You can certainly blend them with solution or whatever way you like to use. But now I do like that violet blue. You guys, if you've been following me a while, you know I use that for shading a lot. So here is the difference between the graphite and the violet blue. And I'm not sure. I really like the violet blue for this because it's less graying than the rest. Now, whether or not that will work on all the colors, let's find out. It should. It's a really dark blue, and so it should. Or a really dark purpley blue. But I'm less likely to lose control with it, which is a big deal. Yeah, I think this is going to work. I had played with the idea of using similar colors and playing with shading like that, but I think this is going to be really effective. I'll put some right there. Are they still playing out there, Simba? It's going to be okay, big dog. Mama promises. Still recording. They make me smile. And see, this automatically, when we start adding the shading, whatever we're using, whether it be graphite or colored pencil, the hatch lines that we took time for earlier are really going to make a big difference in the overall effect of this. We're not going to need as much shading. And the shading we do is going to be much more effective because all of those spots are already going to be darkened. All right, getting around there. I have to sharpen this pencil soon. Now I can lift the graphite out. I think I can apply this over it and use my Mono Zero to lift out some of the extra. I think it'll be fine. Okay, let's see how this works with the green. Simba is much happier now that the boys are back in. He does not understand why he cannot play with. He's a big boy and he jumps. And he's a big boy and he jumps. And you can see the difference on some of these where I didn't put the hatch lines and some of these where I did. It makes a big difference. I think this is where I started. Yay. Let's darken all of these little spots that are behind. All right. We'll start blending here in just a moment. And we could ink in here in the interstices and the little spots between, whoops, sorry. But I don't think it's necessary. I think once we darken that with shading, it will just look like part of everything else. Looks like I'm gonna need some extra hatch lines here. Just gonna go ahead and darken all of that up. Okay, so I think I am going to lift up some of the graphite over here. simply because it was a good amount. It's got everything else kind of grayed. I think that'll be enough. And I can bring this in. I think that'll be more effective. But there are places here where I forgot the hatch lines or missed them, and that's okay. We're going to see how it all turns out, and if there are any spots where we need to add them, we can. Looks like I may have missed a few spots here, and I may come back and do those. We'll see. So let's take a break here real quick and blend some of these. I can find my tortillon again, which clearly has flown the coop. Awesome. All right, let's see. Let's start over here and see where we end up. So this looks like another spot I need to darken. Okay. These two, I think. So in these loops, it would seem like you would need a bunch of shading, and shading is important, but you don't need to go crazy on it. Some of that will take care of itself. What you need is to focus on the contouring of the rounded parts, right? So the folds, the parts where I put the hatch lines, you do not have to use those, but those are shading spots. And so even though you've decided not to use those hatch lines, you're still going to want to put your shading where I put those lines, right? Wow, that actually looks pretty good. When I look at it in front of me, it's not so good, but I look at it through the camera, it looks pretty good. I like the choice of the blue instead of graphite, or the blue violet, I should say. It manages to fit with all of my pastel colors really well. And it's dark enough even to work with the green. I'm wishing I had just stuck with the yellows and oranges and pinks and left the blues and all of the greens off. But I think I'm going to like my result when I'm done. And you can see that by adding that dark in here in these spots that come down, that they are covered, but they, you know, nothing specific. That really helps to drop those back and pull the rest forward. So this is how I'm going to handle this. If you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, be sure and put them in comments. I will try to get to them. I really appreciate your patience on today's video, and I am sorry that we had to do that. I just, you know, sometimes you get sick. So we will keep going from here. We will finish our 100-day project one day late, but that is okay. There's also no 100-day project police, so we're going to be good to go. Okay, this one is weird. I'm going to have to do something with that. And once again, I don't know if putting like a white Prismacolor on here for the highlight is going to make a bit of difference. We might try that white charcoal pencil again. I hope that this video had something that you learned, and if nothing else, it has lots of pretty colors, which is always good, and it's almost Easter. So let's celebrate Easter if you're a Christian. Christ the Lord is risen today, except it'll be Sunday. And if not, that is great. You can celebrate spring with us. And if you like, if you're into the Easter Bunny, you can celebrate that with us too. We are just going to celebrate the general season. As well as Easter here in the United States or wherever you live. I suppose it's Easter everywhere, isn't it? I always want to be careful to respect everyone's beliefs here. It's nice that I have my beliefs, and if you guys agree with me, that's great. But a lot of people, especially those from Taiwan, and I have such a large group from Taiwan that watches. I want everyone, no matter what your belief system is, to feel safe and comfortable here. And so that's a big thing for me. So I always want you to. I love to celebrate the holidays, but I don't ever want anyone to feel uncomfortable because of that. So, all right. Well, the parts that I have done are spectacular. Now, this Muka business up here is going to require some serious shading at the bases, and I probably will handle that I wish. Let's try that white charcoal. Where did that go? There. Okay. Here. So if we did a little bit, I might be able to lighten the heads of them a bit and then come in with my colored pencil and give a little bit of contouring. I think that might be the best solution to this. But we're just going to see what happens. I really like this. I kind of wish I'd left off the Muka. However, it's there, and that's okay. I really, really like the color scheme and the way they move from color to color, and that they're all sort of Eastery, bright, springy, pastel-y colors. And so this is where I'm going to leave it today. There's always, of course, finishing touches to do. And so I plan to spend probably another hour and a half on this, just getting it up to speed while I edit. But this is a good idea of what I plan to do. And if you have, again, any questions, be sure and drop me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about. Or you can direct message me on Instagram, as always. And guys, it is great to be back with you today. Dylan's also in the house. Say hi, Dylan.
Hello.
There you go. So this is where I'm going to leave it today. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with ZENPLOSION folds. Pretty cool, huh? All right, guys, I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 62.